Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today is May 25th. The Cubs have lost 8 in a row. Chris Taylor retired. Let's talk about it. Hello, everybody. My name is Steven. This is the middle of the order. How are we doing today, ladies and gentlemen? That's right, we are at the end of May pretty much. We've got like one more episode left of May before the calendar hits up to June, and all of a sudden it's, hey, let's talk about the All-Star game, and then from there it's, hey, look, it's the trade deadline, and from there it's like, well, it's almost playoffs. Like, we are getting into the season, of course, and with the NBA and NHL playoffs wrapping up. As soon as that gets wrapped up, which, you know, will be sooner than later. I mean, it becomes all about baseball. The season really ramps up, gets super exciting. So yeah, that's what we're kind of waiting for here. But for now, we get to enjoy the end of May. And with that being said, let's dive into our series recap. Leading us off, the Pirates are in Toronto to take on the Blue Jays. A couple of two-run doubles from Piniago and George Springer lead the Blue Jays to a 6-2 victory. Then Springer hits a leadoff dinger off of Paul Skeens. In the second game, Tyler Heineman hits his first home run of the season. The Blue Jays take a 5-2 victory. And in the last game, Spencer Horwitz, O'Neill Cruz both homering, as does Esmerlin Valdez, who gets his first career MLB hit, which just so happens to be his first career MLB home run. The Pirates avoid the sweep with a 4-1 victory. Rays and Yankees, Garrett Cole, after 500-plus days, returns back to the mound and goes 6 scoreless, but the Yankee bullpen blows at the Rays. Plate 4 in the 8th, they get a 4-2 victory. Rain on Saturday pushes this game to September 22nd, so this 3-game set's now a 2-game set, and we go 0-0 in the 9th in the last game, and Judge says no more. He hits a walk-off 2-run homer. The Yankees win it 2-0 and split the now 2-game set technically with the Rays there. Tigers and the Oilers. Pete Alonso hits a 3-run go-ahead home run, and after the Tigers tied it, the Oilers took it back on a go-ahead 2-run homer from Jackson Holliday, his first of the season. Baltimore wins it 7-4. Rain on Saturday means double header on Sunday. Gunnar goes deep. The Oilers down a run but end up walking it off thanks to a Colton Cowser 3-run walk-off homer. Baltimore takes a 5-3 victory. Dylan Dingler, a homer, his 10th on the season, helps the Tigers to a 4-1 victory and to avoid the sweep from Baltimore. Twins and Red Sox in Boston. After a 4-run first for the Red Sox, they would have the lead until the 7th when both Byron Buxton and Austin Martin homer to give the Twins the lead as they come back to win it 8-6. The Twins in Game 2 score 2 in the first, add 2 in the 5th, which would be all they need in a 4-2 victory. And in the last game, Masataka Yoshida hits his first homer of this season. The Twins, though, end up taking the lead with 3 in the 6th and hold on for the win in a back-and-forth game. The Twins sweep Boston in Boston. Mariners and Royals. Mitch Garver's 2-run homer was all the runs in this first game, and the Mariners win it 2-0. Game 2, it's the Royals that ride a complete game shutout from Stephen Kolek, plus a 3-run first inning helps with a 5-0 Kansas City win. And in the rematch, Julio, a first inning home run bomb for Rodriguez. The Royals, though, they strike in the 5th, score 4 runs. The Mariners make it interesting, but in the end, they fall short on the comeback. 8-6 Kansas City, they take 2 of 3 from Seattle. Rangers and Angels, Zach Neto and Wade Meckler both go deep in the first, and for Meckler, it's his first career MLB home run. Zach Neto would homer later in this one as well for a 2-homer game. Texas built some momentum up, but the Halos hold on in a 9-6 victory. In the second game, Mike Trout gets a hold of his 13th homer of this season, part of a 5-2 Angels win. And in the last game, Oswald Peraza and some Rangers mistakes are the reason that they walk it off. A wild win, a wild sweep, and a bizarre ending. 2-1 Halos, they sweep the Rangers. Nationals and Braves now. CJ Abrams hits his 11th homer to tie this game up in the 8th. We go to extras where Abrams hits a triple to put the Nats up 2. The Braves battle in the bottom half, though. They tie it back up, and in the 11th, they find ways to win games. Chadwick Trump hits the walk-off single. The Braves win it 5-4 in 11 to take the opener. Both Dylan Cruz and Jorbit Vivas hit their first homers of this season for the only 2 runs of this game in a 2-0 Nats win. And in the road match, the Braves' bats continue to be quiet after that walk-off win in Game 1. 17 straight scoreless innings before they finally get 1 run in the 9th inning. But that was not enough. The Nats hold on to a 2-1 victory and take 2 of 3 from the Braves. Mets and Marlins. Soto goes deep. It's the home run for the Mets' only run. But Owen Casey comes through with 2 RBIs in the game to help the Marlins to a 2-1 victory. In Game 2, it's Liam Hicks with a 2-homer game, his 10th and 11th on the year, 4-1 Miami. And in the last game, we've got zeros all game long, and it ends on a bang. With the bases loaded, Heriberto Hernandez hits the walk-off grand slam. The Marlins sweep the Mets in grand fashion, winning it 4-0. What a win. Guardians and Phillies. Cal Manzardo breaks the scoreless tie in the 9th with a solo shot. That's the only run of the game. 1-0 Cleveland taking the opener. Bryson Stott delivers with 2-run single to help the Phillies get the Game 2 W, 3-0 Philly. And in the last game, Travis Bazzana hits his 3rd home run on the year to add some insurance late. Cleveland holds on 3-1, taking 2 of 3 from the Phillies. Cardinals and Reds. Rain on Friday means doubleheader on Saturday. Jordan Walker goes deep, and after 11 years in the minors, Brian Torres plays an MLB game, and of course, he would get his first career MLB hit and his first career MLB home run. Cardinals went on to win it 8-1 in the other half of the doubleheader. Ellie De La Cruz homers, Nathaniel Lau homers for the Reds. Jordan Walker goes deep, as does Jose Fermin for the Cardinals. They score 2 in the 9th to tie it up. We go to extras, where the Reds walk it off on a Blake Dunn fielder's choice. They win it 7-6 in 11. Rain on Sunday. That game is to be made up on August 17th, so the Reds and Cardinals split the 2-game set now. Astros and Cubs. Christian Vazquez starts the scoring with his 4th homer of the season. PCA's 2-run homer cuts the lead in half, but it was too late for the Cubs in an Astros 4-2 victory. Then you got Christian Walker, who scores all 3 runs on 2 homers. A 2-homer day for Walker. He gets the 3 RBIs. Astros win it 3-0. And in the last game, it's Jake Meyers, it's Nick Allen, and it's Christian Walker. They all go deep for the Astros. For Allen, it's his first of the year. 8-5 Astros. By the way, Tatis has yet to hit a homer. The Astros sweep the Cubs. Dodgers and Brewers. William Contreras hits a 3-run homer in the first to set the tone. Brewers hold on to a 5-1 victory. After falling behind 3-0 in Game 2, the Dodgers put up 11 on the board, 11 unanswered, led by Teoscar Hernandez, who not only homers in this game, he drives in a total of 6 RBIs, part of an 11-3 Dodgers victory. And in the other match, Andy Paez, his 11th homer on the season, helps the Dodgers get that series win. 5-1 the final, LA taking 2 of 3 from the Brewers. Rockies and D-backs now are only 4 games set. Corbin Carroll is the hero in the opener. He hits a walk-off single. D-backs win it 2-1. In Game 2, Chad Stevens breaks the tie in the 9th. An RBI single is the difference in a 3-2 Colorado win. In that 3rd game, Ketel Marte hits his 8th homer of the season, which ends up being the difference in another 1-run game, this one 5-4. But there is not a 4th 1-run game here. The D-backs break out early. They score 7 runs in the first 3 innings, take a 9-1 victory, and take 3 of 4 from the Rockies. A's and Padres now. Manny Machado, Nick Castellanos, Ramon Laureano all go deep in a 7-3 Padres win. Then in Game 2, with the Padres up 2, Mason Miller comes in to close against his former team and shuts them down. 2 strikeouts. Padres win it 2-0. They looked for the sweep but could not find it. Carlos Cortez hits his 5th homer of the season. The A's get to Michael King. They score 4 runs off of him before he gets through 4 innings of work. A's win it 5-2 to avoid the sweep. And lastly, the White Sox and the Giants. The White Sox do big damage in the fourth. They score 9 runs in the inning, with the highlight being a bases-clearing double from Munetaka Murakami. The White Sox win it 9-4. In Game 2, the Giants score 6 in the fifth. A 2-run shot for Casey Schmidt, and then a grand slam from Harrison Bader. Willy Adames also goes deep later on. The Giants blow it out in a 10-3 victory. And in the last game, Casey Schmidt, he homers again, and we have another grand slam. This one turned a 4-4 game into an 8-4 game as Rafael Devers launches the go-ahead grand slam. It ends up being a big Giants win. They hold on 8-5 to final. They take 2-3 from the White Sox, and that's your series recap. All right, now let's get to the game of the weekend. We're going to Cincinnati for Game 2 of the technically 2-game set between the Cardinals and the Reds here. It starts in the top of the second with the Cardinals getting that first run. Mason Wynn, sac fly, 1-run scores. It's 1-0 St. Louis. It would stay that way until the fifth, where the Reds put up a 5 spot. It starts with a 3-run homer for Elly De La Cruz. It continues with a 2-run homer for Nathaniel Lowe. For Lowe, it's his 8th homer on the year. For Elly, it's his 12th. 3-run shot, 2-run shot from 1-0 to 5-1. Top 6, the Cardinals get almost all of those runs back instantaneously, with Jordan Walker hitting his 15th homer on this season. How about that from Jordan Walker? A 3-run shot makes it a 1-run game. That was the second homer of the day, as he homered in the first game on that same day. We go bottom 6 with the Reds getting a run back. Dane Myers, the RBI double. Reds lead it 6-4. We go top 9. Jose Fermin hits his 2nd homer on the season. It's just a solo shot, though. Puts the Cardinals within 1. Reds still looking for the save, but will not find it as Jordan Walker, the man, the myth, the legend, comes through once again. An RBI single ties this game up, but the Reds hold on to get out of it. We go 6-6. We go into extras, and after nothing scores in the 10th, we got to go to a tag play, ump review challenge, Blake Dunn, fielder's choice, Mason Wynn, Steer scores. Who knows what's going on? In the end, the Reds get the walk-off win. 7-6, the final in this one, in a battle between two teams in the Central. NL Central is getting more and more interesting each and every day. We'll be talking about the NL Central a lot in today's episode, as we kind of have been. The NL Central kind of runs baseball right now. And we might as well just immediately start with it with some of the baseball news for this weekend here. And we got to talk about the Chicago Cubs, because what is happening has kind of been unpredictable. If you remember, the kind of last time we kind of talked about the Cubs in a big way, they were coming off their second 10-game winning streak of the season, all before their 50th game of the season. The Cubs had 2 different 10-game winning streaks. That ended on the 9th of May. The Texas Rangers beat them 6-0. And since then, it's kind of been a really backward spiral for the Cubs. They swept the Reds in a 4-game set. Very impressive. Then they lost a series to the Rangers 2-3. Then they lose the series to the Braves 2-3. Then they lose the series to the White Sox 2-3. They got swept by the Brewers and now have been swept by the Astros. They have lost 8 in a row, which not good, in case you were wondering. And when you go back to when that 10-game winning streak ended, that's been what? 6, 9, 12, like 14 games. They're 2-12 in their last 14 games. They had back-to-back wins on the 14th and 15th, beating the Braves to avoid the sweep, and then beating the White Sox to start that series. But that win against the White Sox on the 15th, that's been their last day. It's been 10 days, 8 games for them. Lost to the White Sox twice, swept by the Brewers, swept by the Astros. And, let's be honest, the sweep to the Brewers, that hurt them. They're no longer in first place. The sweep to the Astros were one of the worst teams around the league. That's not the team you want to get swept by. And now you're starting up a 4-game set against the Pirates. And guess who comes after that? the Cardinals. So again, like it's not like, the you can get away with it. These aren't teams like these are teams like the Twins or the A's. No, these are teams against your division, and like it doesn't, yes, it's still early-ish in the season, getting to the 33% mark of the season. But the games against your division matter. It matters like crazy. And right now, the Cubs, they've gone from first in the Central on this 8-game losing streak. They've lost it to the Brewers, and now they're behind the Cardinals. And, only a game and a half up on the Reds, a game, 2 games up on the Pirates. So, I mean, the Cubs Pirates series, we're talking about a chance where, come next episode, come Friday, the Pirates are in third place and the Cubs are in last. The Cubs could have gone from first to last. It's super weird, but again, this is a very good division. The Pirates, again, as you mentioned, they just lost 2 or 3 to the Blue Jays. They're still 27 and 26. They're still 1 game above 500. We're still at a point in the season where every team in the NL Central has a record above 500. If you're wondering about the other divisions, the A's in the AL West, they're above 500. They have the same record as the Pirates, so we can't say like, oh, all 5 of them would be a playoff team, even though they technically would be. But we'll talk about the standings a little bit later on as well. Just want to mention the Cubs. I mean, you got to figure it out. They're going to be on the road here for 4 against the Pirates, and then they're on the road against the Cardinals. So they're leaving their home. They're leaving Wrigley Field after dropping 6 straight at home to the Brewers and Astros. Of course, when you go back to the White Sox, they've lost 8 in a row. They now have to go to PNC Park for 4 against the Pirates, and then St. Louis and Busch Stadium for 3 against the Cardinals. And that's how they finish their month of May, these next 7 games. Right now for the Cubs, I think you just kind of want to get back to 500. So the goal here is to win 4 of the next 7. That's what you should be. I mean, the Cubs we were talking about as like the best team in baseball, alongside like the Rays and like the Braves. Braves, Yankees, Dodgers, Padres. Like the Cubs were up there, and now they've kind of slid back into the mix of like, yeah, you're a good team, but not really World Series contending team. So it's interesting to say the least here for the Cubbies. Moving on here, let's talk Chris Taylor because he had quite the eventful weekend considering he's not playing baseball. In case that was made aware for you guys, Chris Taylor announced his retirement, but then the next day said no, ended up being placed on the IL. But like he didn't actually say no, he was just placed on the IL, which made it seem like he was still playing, but like there was nothing official. But then he comes out on his social media, on Instagram, and he says, no, 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 no. We had it right the first time. I am retired from Major League Baseball. Chris Taylor says adios to the great game of baseball. After 12 years in the big leagues, he made his Major League debut back in 2014 with the Mariners. Yeah, people forget that. I certainly did. Spent 2.5 years with the Mariners before getting traded to the Dodgers in 2016. And this is where Chris Taylor, not only has he had some iconic postseason moments in Dodger history, of course, the walk-off home run in St. Louis, or not in St. Louis, but against St. Louis, because it's a walk-off home run, duh. In the wild card series to help the Dodgers move on. Big hits in the 2017 World Series for the Dodgers. So a great ball player, of course. Those were his best years, 2017 and 2018. He had 4.5 and 4.2 WAR that year. Also, shout out to 2021. His first half was incredible. He made his first and only All-Star appearance that year, and then cooled off mightily in the second half. It was very funny to see Chris Taylor kind of be an All-Star that year, considering his year as a whole was pretty mediocre. 2.5 WAR. I mean, that's like just over half of his best years. Of course, 2017, 4.5 WAR. He had a career-high 35 doubles in 2018. Was never that big of a home run hitter, but did end up hitting 110 home runs in his career, the most being in 2017 where he hit 21. That was definitely his best year of his career. But with the Dodgers, he's obviously an NLCS MVP as well as a two-time World Series champion. He was with the Dodgers from all the way from mid 16 to 2025, where the Dodgers traded him to the other LA team, went from the Dodgers to the Halos, and played 30 games for the Angels, where he went 14 for 78. He hit 2 homers, batted a 179, 598, and then was hurt. He's been hurt kind of this year, was not playing, and says, you know what? I've had my fair share. I've got my 2 rings, one for each hand. I'm good, guys. Thank you so much. Finishes his luxurious 12-year career with a 16.2 WAR, 860 hits, exactly 200 doubles, the 110 home runs, a 248 batting average, and a 746 OPS. He's the type of player that would end up on the Hall of Pretty Good. So shout out Chris Taylor on a fantastic career. And last bit of baseball news here to go over is really briefly between the Red Sox and the Twins. They had a small little bench clearing kerfuffle in one of the games this weekend. What ended up happening was Wilson Contreras was chugging along home, but the throw is coming in. It's a hard slide from Contreras. He ends up getting out on the play. Victor Caratini, the Twins catcher there, kind of took a little bit of a blow by Wilson Contreras and did not really like it. He quickly went over, put his arm around his shoulder, and the two of them started to discuss. It was a pretty, I would call it, tame discussion, knowing Wilson Contreras' track record. I know when this guy's upset, he was just having a simple, opening conversation about the play. And it helps that they're both catchers. They both kind of experience the same kind of plays. They've both had similar instances of the play. Obviously I'm not sure. I know Contreras. I know he's a, hard player. He wants to win. But there was definitely nothing intentional on that play. The two of them were just kind of talking it out, airing it out, and the benches ended up clearing on the behalf. They kind of separated them, but in my mind, it was kind of a nothing sandwich. It was just, Caratini wanting to just straighten up, like, hey, man, like, that wasn't cool, but, like, I get it. And Wilson being like, man, like, it wasn't my intention. You were kind of in the play, but, my bad. And then it just ended up getting out of hand a little bit. It wasn't anything too crazy. Did want to mention it, though, but, yeah, definitely, I would say the tamest bench clearing I've seen in a good while here. So, yay for catchers. Let's move on now. Let's get into the baseball, the day-to-day here, the hot and colds from the week. Ketel Marte with 15 hits. That's incredible. 28 at-bats does help, though. 4 doubles, 3 homers, a whopping 12 RBIs, 11 runs, 3 walks, a 1.563 OPS. A great week for the switch-hitting second baseman for Arizona. Freddie Freeman comes in afterwards, only 5 hits, 5 for 17, but did have 3 doubles, 2 homers, 3 RBIs, 6 runs, 10 walks. He was on base a lot. He was productive in his at-bats, 1.380 OPS for Freeman. Juan Soto checks in under him, 8 for 22 with 4 homers. Let this guy get hot. 7 RBIs, 6 runs, 4 walks, a 1.371 OPS. We just talked about Wilson Contreras and the impact he had in that bench clearing. Well, he's been hot. 11 for 24. He had 2 triples in the series, 2 homers. Obviously all of that comes from the week, as well as 8 RBIs, 5 runs, a 1.355 OPS. And lastly, Justin Foscue from Texas, 10 for 22, 3 doubles, a homer, 5 RBIs, 4 runs, a 1.246 OPS. We'll take a look at the cold players now. Of course, Adolis Garcia seems to always end up being on this side of things every now and then. He went 1 for 17 with 9 strikeouts. One of the more colder players around the league has been Kazuma Okamoto from the Blue Jays. This week, he was 2 for 24 with a league high 14 strikeouts for the week. Not the greatest there. Another rookie struggling, this one from the White Sox, Colson Montgomery, 2 for 23 with 10 strikeouts. So it looks like these guys need to find some adjustments at the big league level. Marcus Semien, 3 for 26 with 6 Ks. Chase DeLauder, a third rookie on this list, 3 for 24 with 6 Ks. 3 AL rookies. Cold as ice right now, trying to figure things out here as they get back on track here, battling for that Rookie of the Year. We'll take a look now at some injury updates around the league. There was a couple of big ones. The first one, the Cubs. If losing 8 games wasn't bad enough, they also lose Edward Cabrera on the 15-day IL with blister on his right middle finger. Mickey Moniak lands on the 10-day IL for Colorado with a sprained ankle. Angels will lose Yoan Moncada on the 10-day IL with knee inflammation. Giants lose Jung Ho Lee, 10-day IL, strained back. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. can't catch a break. He's back on the IL with a strained hamstring. Jake Irvin, after a nice start this weekend, finds himself on the 15-day IL with a strained shoulder. And one thing to note, even though we haven't had any news of it yet as of the time of recording this, but yesterday in the Blue Jays game with the Pirates, both Dylan Cease and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. left with apparent injuries. Dylan Cease looked like it was more precautionary at best, but Vladdy left after getting hit on the right elbow, which, when you're batting, that's not the left one is the one that's supposed to get hit. The left one has the guard on it. It goes by, hits him straight on the right elbow. He took himself out of the game. And Vladdy's a competitor, so it would maybe be a little bit more serious. We'll have to see, but at the end of the day, if either of these two end up on the IL, it's just more Blue Jays injuries in a cursed year for them as that bad luck continues to roll by. Now we'll take a look at some outstanding performances from the weekend here. Kevin Gausman leads the way here, 6 2/3, 6 hits, a run, a walk, and 8 Ks. Noah Cameron, 6 innings, 4 hits, no runs, 2 walks, and 8 Ks. Yuri Perez, 6 1/3 innings, 2 hits, a run, no walks, and 5 Ks. Christopher Sanchez was in a great pitcher's duel with the next guy here, 8 innings, 4 hits, no runs, 2 walks, and 6 Ks. He got outdueled by Gavin Williams, 8 innings, 4 hits, no runs, no walks, 11 strikeouts. I told you guys 2 years ago that Gavin Williams was him. Now he's really proving it. Logan Henderson, 5 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 3 walks, and 7 Ks against the Dodgers. Good stuff there. Eduardo Rodriguez, 7 innings, 4 hits, no runs, a walk, and 4 Ks. Great for him. Shout out the GOAT, Steven Kolek here. 9 innings, 4 hits, no runs, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. A complete game shutout for him. Big moment for Kolek. Jake Irvin, as I mentioned, he went 5 innings, but didn't allow a single hit or run. Did walk a batter, his only blunder of the day, as he struck out 7 big ones. Max Meyer tears apart the Mets, going 7 innings with only 1 hit, no runs, 3 walks, and 8 Ks. Zach Wheeler continues to be dominant for the Phillies, 6 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 1 walk, and 6 Ks as they continue to work to revamp him back up. Ryan Nelson goes 8 innings, 6 hits, a run, 3 walks, 3 Ks. Drew Rasmussen, 7 innings, 5 hits, no runs, a walk, and 6 Ks. Great stuff against the Yankees. Foster Griffin, 6 innings, 3 hits, no runs, a walk, and 6 Ks. Mackenzie Gore, 6 innings, only 1 hit, happens to be 1 run, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts. And lastly, big flowers to Reed Detmers, who went out there to strike out Texas. 8 innings, only 1 hit, happens to be a 1 earned run day. No walks, but had 14 big ones, tying the record we saw this year, 14. Emerson Hancock from the Mariners did it first. Now Reed Detmers, who will be the first to reach 15, and why will it be either Dylan Cease or Jacob Misiorowski? Because those two are very good at striking batters out. Let's move on now to our standings check. I kind of teased some of this already, but let's get into it. Let's go in reverse order this time around, starting with the NL West. The Dodgers are hot. They're 8-2 in their last 10, 33-20. They're a game and a half up on the Padres, who are 31-21 and need to continue to try to get back to the Dodgers. There, Arizona, they've been on a nice little streak recently, 8-2 in their last 10 as well, 28-24, 4.5 back of the Dodgers, but only half a game out of the wild card. Giants at 22-31 and Rockies at 20-34, starting to fall away here. In the NL Central, all teams still above 500. The Brewers are at 30-20, 7-3 in their last 10. They're great. A game and a half up on the Cardinals, who are 29-22, who have a game up on the Cubs, who again have lost 8 in a row and are sitting at 29-24, still looking for that 30th win, the 2.5 back of the division. Reds 4 games back of the division at 27-25, while the Pirates are at 27-26. So the Pirates have played an extra game and have lost it. That is what your Central looks like there. In the NL East, the Braves 36-18, still on the road to a potential playoff berth. They're looking like they're going to be the first team to reach 40 as well. They've done it for 20-30 so far. They're 9 games up on the Nats, who are exactly a 500 ball club after beating the Braves twice. They're 27-27, half a game up on the Phillies, who are 26-27. Nationals fans, go make fun of some Phillies fans. Marlins, after sweeping the Mets, are 25-29, and the Mets, after getting swept by the Marlins, are 22-31. The gap between those two teams are 2.5. If only the Mets swept that series, the Mets would be ahead of the Marlins. Instead, they've dug themselves a further hole. In the AL West, as I mentioned, the A's are at 27-26, and they are currently leading the AL West. The Mariners are at 25-29, trying to figure out what's wrong. 24-28 for Texas, the same record, just with 1 game less in each. So Mariners are technically second. Houston, after the sweep on the Cubs, are at 23-31, and the Angels, after a surprise sweep against Texas, are 20-34. They have reached the 20 mark, and that just leaves the nobody. Colorado Rockies also reached 20 win mark. So everyone has at least 20 wins on this season. Of course, some getting closer and closer to 30, but give a big shout out for the Angels. They swept the Rangers. I was going to say the records. The AL Central has Cleveland still ahead, and by good measure. They're 32-23, have a 4.5 game lead on the White Sox, who are exactly 500 at 26-26. That is a big gap difference between the White Sox and the Guardians. Twins are at 26-27, have played 1 extra game and have lost it compared to the White Sox. Royals are 22-31. Tigers are 21-33. Still a lot of work to be done for the Tigers this year. That Tarek Skubal trade looks like it could be happening real soon. Lastly, the AL East still has the Twins leading the way at 4.5 game lead. They're 34-16. Yankees are 31-22. They got to try to start cutting into that just a little bit. Meanwhile, the Blue Jays are at 25-28. They're 10.5 games back of the division, but only a game back of the wild card. Baltimore at 23-30, while Boston is 22-30. So you've got a team that doesn't know an identity because they've been hurt and dealing with so many injuries. You've got 2 teams battling it out for first, and you got 2 teams battling it out for fifth. That is what the AL East looks like, and that is your standings check. So the division winners as it stands: the Rays, the Guardians, the Athletics, the Braves, the Brewers, and the Dodgers. Ladies and gentlemen, that now takes us to our upcoming series for the week. There are some good ones. The Braves are in Boston to take on the Red Sox. The Marlins, after sweeping the Mets, are going to the Toronto to take on the Blue Jays. Rays and Orioles. Everyone's going to be a Baltimore fan this week if you're in the AL East. Yankees get the Royals. Nationals at Guardians. Twins at White Sox. That's a big one, kind of, for second and third right now. The AL Central. That's a fun one. Angels and Tigers. A battle between 2 teams that are utterly trash. Mariners and A's, the first team in the AL West versus the second team in the AL West. Jesus. My vocab is going here. Almost done though. Mariners and A's, that's a big series there. Astros at Rangers, that's always interesting and fun. You get the Reds at the Mets. Cubs at Pirates. We talked about the significance of this series. Cubs need some wins. Cardinals will take on the Brewers. That's a fun one. First team in the NL Central versus second team in the NL Central. St. Louis, you've got work to do. Rockies in LA taking on the Dodgers. D-backs in San Francisco to take on the Giants. A couple of division rivals will clash. Meanwhile, the Padres will host the Philadelphia Phillies for that 15th and final series here for the upcoming ones this week. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to a close on today's episode. Shout out all of you guys for tuning on in and making this something that is still fun to do, despite not getting the love I maybe would like to have on some of these videos and episodes. Whether you're listening on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Buzzsprout, wherever you get your podcasts. I appreciate if you are listening to this, if you've got this far, even if you skipped to this part specifically, thank you so much. I appreciate you all. And ladies and gentlemen, I will see you on Friday.